The 2023 movie Insidious. The Red Door is a supernatural horror real story that continues the terrifying story of the Lambert family.
Draw whatever your soul brings forth, an experience that defines you.
Particularly focusing on the journey of Josh and Dalton Lambert. It is part of the Insidious franchise, known for its chilling exploration of the paranormal and the dangers of the further. A dimension inhabited by spirits and malevolent entities. Although insidious. The Red Door is a fictional work. The movie's events and themes are inspired by real-life phenomena related to hauntings, astral projection, and the dangers of supernatural realms. This fictionalized narrative will weave together elements from the Insidious movie with real paranormal beliefs, events, and the unknown dangers of spirit realms, creating a story that blends fact and fiction in a chilling tale. The origin of the Red Door, a family's dark history. It was 1970 when the Carter family first moved into their new home in a quiet suburban neighborhood. They were a typical American family, a mother, father, and two children, Sarah and Lucas. They had no idea that the house they bought was built over ancient land, long considered cursed by locals. Over the years, several families had come and gone from the house, each leaving in fear, convinced that something otherworldly was haunting the property. The Carters, like those before them, soon began experiencing strange phenomena. At first, it started with objects moving on their own and strange noises at night. The family dismissed these occurrences as mere coincidences or the creaks of an old house settling. However, as time went on, the paranormal activity escalated. Sarah began to see a door in the basement that was never there before. A door painted in a deep shade of red. When she asked her husband about it, he claimed that no such door existed. But every time she walked into the basement, the door would appear. Sarah's curiosity led her to investigate. One evening, she gathered the courage to open the red door. What she found on the other side was not the simple basement storage room she had expected, but a swirling dark void that seemed to stretch endlessly into nothingness. It was as if the door was a portal to another dimension, a place where lost souls and malevolent entities dwelled. The horror truly began when Sarah's young son, Lucas, wandered into the basement one night. By the time she found him, he was standing in front of the red door, his eyes glazed over and his body stiff. He whispered something incomprehensible before snapping out of his trance. From that moment on, the Carter family was plunged into terror. Sarah soon began experiencing vivid dreams of an alternate world, a place filled with shadows and ghosts. She saw figures in the distance watching her from behind the veil of this dark dimension. As the days passed, the boundary between the real world and this supernatural realm began to blur. The Red Door, which once appeared only sporadically, now manifested regularly, always leading to the dark dimension. Lucas, too, began to change. His behavior grew increasingly erratic, and he would often speak to unseen figures. His once cheerful personality shifted to one of fear and agitation. Sarah, desperate to protect her family, turned to local spiritual leaders and paranormal experts for help. Several of them came to the house, but none of them could offer a solution. They confirmed that the house was cursed, but the true source of the curse, the Red Door, remained a mystery. After a particularly terrifying night when the family was nearly attacked by an invisible entity, Sarah realized that the key to ending the torment lay in confronting the source of the curse, the Red Door itself. In her desperation, Sarah learned about the phenomenon known as astral projection, a practice in which one's soul can leave their physical body and travel to other dimensions. A local paranormal expert, Dr. Jameson, revealed that the dimension Sarah had glimpsed was a place where spirits became trapped and malevolent entities roamed freely. The Red Door was a gateway to this dimension, a portal that had been opened by some unknown force, allowing the evil entities to cross over into the physical world. The connection between the Carter family and the Further ran deeper than Sarah realized. It turned out that her husband, Daniel, had a family history linked to the paranormal. His great-grandfather had been a prominent occultist, and he had conducted experiments involving the manipulation of spirit realms. It was believed that these experiments had inadvertently opened a rift to the Further, a rift that had remained open for decades, drawing spirits into the real world. With the Red Door now fully manifested in their home, it became clear to Sarah that the only way to stop the growing evil was to close the door once and for all. She would need to travel into the Further herself, confront the entities residing there, and seal the rift her family. One night, after preparing herself mentally and spiritually, Sarah succeeded in leaving her physical body behind. She descended into the Further, a cold, dark place filled with whispers and shadows. Her only guide was the Red Door, which pulsed with an eerie light. As she walked toward it, the air grew thick with malevolent energy, and she could feel the presence of countless lost souls. Inside the Further, Sarah encountered the entities that had been feeding off her family's fear. They were twisted, grotesque versions of the people they once were, souls trapped in the dimension, seeking to escape and enter the physical world. Among them was the entity that had been haunting Lucas, a terrifying, faceless figure that seemed to embody pure darkness. As Sarah confronted the entities, she realized that they were not merely ghosts, but manifestations of fear itself. They thrived on terror and sought to spread it to the living world. The Red Door, she understood, was not just a portal. It was a conduit for the fear of the living, a way for the Further's inhabitants to feed and grow stronger. Sarah faced an agonizing decision. To seal the Red Door, she would need to confront her deepest fears and make a terrible sacrifice. In the end, she chose to face the darkness within herself. By confronting her own fears and embracing the love for her family, Sarah was able to break the connection between the Red Door and the Further. When Sarah awoke, she found herself back in her physical body. The Red Door had vanished, and the house seemed to be at peace. The malevolent presence that had haunted them was gone, and Lucas was free from the influence of the dark entities. The family, though shaken by the experience, was able to move on, leaving the house behind. In the years that followed, Sarah dedicated herself to understanding the supernatural and helping others who had encountered similar phenomena. She became an expert on astral projection and the dangers of the Further, teaching others how to protect themselves from the same fate her family had endured. The Red Door, though sealed, remained a symbol of the thin veil between the living and the dead, a reminder that there are realms beyond our comprehension, waiting to be explored or feared. Some doors, once opened, should never be crossed. I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you again with another creepy story. Until then, goodbye.